Hey everyone, Charlie here. Good morning. Hope you're all doing well. It is a beautiful sunny morning here in Sabai City, Fukui Prefecture, Japan. I have lived here now for a year and 3 months, little longer than that. And as you've seen, if you've watched my videos, or even if you've only watched the One Cuppas, this has become my home, right? I love it here. And in many ways, this dream I had about coming to Japan and learning the language and making friends and making a life for myself, right, has come true. I thought for a long while about whether or not I really wanted to make this video because I wasn't sure it was really something that needed to be said. But in light of recent events, I took a look back at some of the comments from many of you out there who are looking to move here to Japan for a variety of reasons. Many of you who are planning to do so without having ever been here and things like that. And so I really wanted to give you, I guess, a piece of serious advice, a little bit of real talk, and just to give you something to think about. My grandfather has recently been moved into a nursing home, and he's been diagnosed with the onset of dementia, and he probably will not be coming home, at least not anytime in the immediate future. And I'm sort of in a unique position. I have unique experience to some in that I worked for 2 years in a nursing home, and I understand as a nurse's aide, and I understand what that sort of diagnosis means. I know what it usually means when someone goes into a nursing home, particularly when they're 80 or more years old. Now, I don't want to focus on that too much, but suffice it to say that I don't feel good about it, right? Of course I don't. My father and my uncle and my grandmother and my immediate family, of course, is very upset about it, and it's a very tough thing to have to deal with. And ordinarily, right, in these circumstances, we would all come together. We would talk about it. We would lean on each other. We would eat. We would drink. We would, do things to help each other forget, if only for a moment, things we're having to do in the best interest of my grandfather and where he's going to be and things like that, right? So, but of course, I am not there. And very selfishly, of course, right? I think about my lack of support for the way I feel about it. But of course, the important thing is my grandfather, whether he's happy, whether he's healthy, and whether or not this is going to be a change that he can adjust to, right? Coming here requires sacrifice, right? Now again, as I said in the beginning, many of you don't need to hear this. Many of you don't need to hear this, right? There's that old trite saying that anything worth having, to paraphrase, basically doesn't come free, right? You have to pay for anything that is worth having in your life. But the reason why I thought this was important to talk about, as I said before, is that there are I've heard from so many of you who talk about how it's always been your dream to move to Japan, which is fine, of course, right? Of course I can relate to that, and I encourage you to pursue that dream. But I encourage you to do so intelligently. There needs to be, on your part, on all of our parts, a consideration for what we're giving up in return for the things we would get, right? Now, in the case of Japan, there are many things. The support of family, friends, food, your language, your culture, things like that, right? Which can come together at different points to make you feel very alone and very upset. And for the most part, I think you can adjust to that, right? There, like I said, there are these periods, as I've shown you on this channel, where I've just been overwhelmed by maybe sometimes an artificial, but at least this feeling of solitude that at least feels very real right now. Those are things you can adjust to, and maybe those are the things you expect. But it's in these situations when you can't be there for your family, right? Where you're effectively, by your own doing, by your own hand, cut out of these very serious life circumstances, which ordinarily you would understandably want to be there for, right? And it's for this reason that I encourage all of you who are considering moving here to at least come here for more than 2 weeks, for more than even a month, I would say, so that you can understand what that investment means, really, because that's what it is. It's an investment of your time. It's an investment of your of your time and everything you've built up in life so far, right? Basically what you're doing, you're just leveraging the life you had before in order to forge ahead and start something new, which is beautiful, right? But you need to understand what that means. For me right now, it means that I can't be there for someone who was always good to me as a kid, who gave me these terrible buzz cuts as a child and things like that, right? And built models with me and put up with all my shit when I was a kid and when I was a teenager. I had been here before for stretches of variable amounts of time. And so I understood what the investment, what I was giving things up for, right? And that's really all I mean to say, is that I want you to take into consideration everything: the food, the language, the friends, the family, your ability to support your family and friends in times when they're in pain, when they're in need, and your family's equal inability to support you, your friends' equal inability to support you in your times of pain, in your times of need. I don't want to harp on it too much, and I do want to point out, this is not to say that I did everything correctly, right? I'm not trying to say that, I understood what it meant to move here, because in a lot of ways I didn't. But to dive into moving thousands of miles away for at least a year, for those of you who want to come here and teach English, you need to understand, at least in that very basic way, that like a month or a 2-month visit here can give you, whether or not it will be worth it for you. Because if you come to a situation like this and you think and you come to find that maybe it won't actually be worth it, you're going to be miserable. You will be miserable, and I don't want that for you. I don't want that for any of my friends who've already made that move to Japan. And of course, naturally, I of course don't want it for myself. So let me know what you think. For those of you who have already moved here, what has the experience been like for you when a family member has maybe passed away or become ill, or there's a really serious situation which ordinarily you really want to be there for? Is that something you considered before moving here, or did it only sort of look you in the face when you were, when it actually came around, as in my case, I guess? So on that note, guys, I do want to point out that despite this situation, I'm not going home. Anything like that. I'm not planning on moving, because the investment, as I've talked about, to me is still worth it. But I'll stop harping on about it. But please just consider it. Be smart about it, and know yourself a little bit, I guess, and know what you're getting into. So on that note, guys, thanks always for watching. Sorry for the more serious tone video, but on that note, see you guys all next time. Cheers.